All right, Owen Bowen here. I'm here with my 1973 Toyota Land Cruiser FJ40 project. I picked this up off an old guy who was the original owner, and it had 71,000 miles in the original engine, and it was completely seized. He'd blown a head gasket and then parked it, and then the coolant seeped into the engine and rusted it shut. So I decided instead of rebuilding that engine over there in the stand, I was going to swap a used Chevy 350 V8 into it. I've already torn it down and taken all the stuff out that I needed to. I kind of wish I had filmed all that, but it never really occurred to me to film this until now. So here's what it looked like before I took it apart. Then here's me taking the entire engine out. Sorry for the crappy cell phone pics. At this point, I had still thought I was going to use the original engine, but that was pie in the sky. So I bought this bad boy off Craigslist. This is a crate Chevy V8. This came out of another FJ40. Someone had bought a car that had already been converted, and then he was going to put an LS motor with an automatic transmission into it. So he was selling this, which is great for me because it's low miles and it has a bunch of engine mount stuff for specifically putting that engine into this car. So here it is. This is the drive shaft I just painted. Right now I'm working on the brakes. There was no brake fluid in it when I bought this because it had been leaking out, and I figured out it had been leaking out from this union right here. So I've bought some new brake line, and I'm going to be doing that. This is the firewall. So far, I've never seen, as I was looking at these, I never saw one with the master cylinder cap for the front brake system. So I don't know why those keep going missing. But here she blows without the engine in it. Interior is pretty bad. This is quite the rust bucket, but the price was right. This is the interior. The dash is nice, but there were a bunch of rust holes in the floor, which I started fixing up. This part right here was sagging. You could almost see through this part, so I built this cross piece that I've begun to weld in. I'm not the world's best welder. I'm still kind of getting there with my welding skills, but the transmission hump goes there. And here's a bunch of crap in the back seat. So the previous owner had put a wooden tailgate on the back because he'd broken the original one, but fortunately I still have the original spare tire carrier, which is great because they're kind of hard to find and they're pricey if you find it. These fenders are pretty bad. I'm going to be replacing them entirely with aftermarket ones. You can get aftermarket fenders for this on eBay pretty cheap. You just have to weld them on yourself, but I can do that. It's the passenger side. So yep, here it is. So I think as I go on, I'm going to be filming myself doing some of the repair tasks just so the internet can see what it's like. There's a lot of cool videos on these on YouTube right now, but I noticed that a lot of them are people doing like really crazy high quality restorations, which are gorgeous. I love those, but I'm not doing that. I'm just restoring this into drivable condition with an engine swap so that I can cruise around in a cool old truck. I'm not going for like a museum quality restoration because that's not really within my abilities. I don't want to spend the money, and I don't really feel the need for that. Like I don't mind if old things look old because it's part of why they're cool. Yeah, that's the hood up there. This thing is pretty cool. This is the old engine. I took this out. Disgusting in there. Absolutely gross. This is the head. This is really nasty. Water got in here. Absolutely gross. So yeah, today I am going to be continuing to work on the brakes. Hopefully so I can get the front brakes at least working so that when I put this engine in soon, I can at least pull it in and out of the garage because my dad might need his shop space back. So today I'm going to be fixing that brake line, and then maybe working on the transmission. This is the transmission and transfer case. Cleaned it up a little bit. It works great. I'm going to be putting that into this engine with an adapter plate, so stay tuned for that.